The forest stretched vast and endless, as though it had no beginning and no end. Pines rose like pillars of an ancient cathedral, their crowns swaying against a pale sky streaked with fading winter clouds. The air carried the sharp scent of resin and cold earth, mingled with the faint sweetness of thawing moss. Meltwater dripped steadily from branches, ticking like a slow clock into the silence below. For Jonah, walking here was both ritual and refuge. He came often, camera slung against his chest, boots worn from countless miles. These woods reminded him that there was still order, still beauty, beyond the noise of cities and screens. He wasn't searching for anything in particular that afternoon. He simply let the path guide him, inhaling the air as if it might heal the weight in his chest. But the woods had other plans. It began with a sound. At first, Jonah thought it was the creak of branches straining against the wind. Then it came again, higher, sharper, raw with desperation. A cry. It pierced the stillness like glass breaking. Jonah froze mid-step, his ears strained. The sound came once more, guttural, pained, pleading. Something was suffering. His pulse quickened. Without hesitation, Jonah left the trail. Underbrush clawed at his legs, and snow crunched underfoot as he hurried toward the noise. The cries grew louder, tearing through him with each step. His throat tightened. He already dreaded what he might find. The trees parted into a small clearing, and there it was, a wolf. It lay half collapsed on the snowy ground, one hind leg caught in a steel snare. The trap's jagged jaws had bitten deep, and blood darkened the snow around it. The wolf's chest heaved with shallow, rapid breaths. Its once proud coat, a shifting blend of gray and silver, was matted with dirt and sweat. Its eyes, wild, golden, flashed up at Jonah with equal parts fear and fury. Jonah's breath caught. His stomach lurched with anger. He knew these traps. Poachers left them hidden under leaves and snow, silent jaws waiting to snap shut on whatever was unlucky enough to step there. He had seen pictures, read reports. But standing here, face to face with suffering, it was different. The wolf growled weakly, baring its teeth, though its body shook with exhaustion. Jonah raised his hands slowly, speaking low and steady, though his own voice trembled. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'm not here to hurt you." The words felt small, fragile in the face of such pain, but Jonah meant them. Every instinct warned him of the danger. Wolves were wild, unpredictable, and a cornered animal could kill as easily as flee. Yet Jonah couldn't walk away. The thought of leaving this creature to die alone in the snow twisted his heart. He crouched, lowering himself slowly, trying not to startle it. His pack slipped from his shoulders into the slush. From it, he pulled a thick wool blanket. His hands trembled, but his eyes stayed locked on the wolf's. "Hold on," he murmured. "I'll get you out." The wolf snarled louder, straining against the snare, but the effort only made blood flow faster. Jonah's throat burned with urgency. He crept closer, step by step. Then, with one decisive motion, he flung the blanket over the animal's head and body. Chaos erupted. The wolf thrashed violently, its body bucking beneath the wool. Muffled snarls shook Jonah's bones. Claws raked the ground, scattering snow and dirt. Jonah pressed his weight down, using the blanket as both shield and barrier. His fingers found the trap. The steel was cold, slick with blood, biting back against every pull. Jonah's knuckles scraped raw as he fought with the mechanism. The snare was rusted, jammed tight, designed not to let go. Panic clawed at his chest. "Come on," he gasped, sweat beading his brow despite the chill. "Don't give up now." The wolf whimpered beneath the blanket, the sound shredding Jonah's resolve. He pulled harder, arms straining, veins standing out in his forearms. The metal creaked, but held. His hands bled against it. For a heartbeat, despair surged. What if he failed? But Jonah refused. Gritting his teeth, he shifted his grip, pressing his shoulder against the frame for leverage. With one final, desperate heave, the jaws sprang open with a screech. The snare released. Jonah yanked it free and hurled it into the snow. His chest heaved, lungs burning as if he had run miles. Carefully, he pulled back the blanket. The wolf lay trembling, its leg free at last. Though torn and bloodied, its golden eyes blinked rapidly, confused, still wild. Jonah stayed absolutely still, heart hammering. The animal shifted, testing its weight. It staggered, collapsed, then forced itself up again. 3 good legs bore its weight shakily. Blood dripped from the wound, but it was alive. Then their eyes met. Jonah felt the world fall silent. The forest, the wind, even his own heartbeat seemed to fade. The wolf's gaze pierced into him, sharp, unblinking. He braced for a lunge, for pain, for teeth. Instead, the wolf stepped forward, slow and deliberate. Jonah held his breath. Warm breath brushed his palm as the muzzle lowered, and then it pressed its nose gently into his open hand. Tears flooded Jonah's eyes. His throat tightened, a sob breaking free. That touch, fleeting and fragile, carried more weight than words ever could. Gratitude, trust, a bridge across the ancient divide between human and wild. It lasted only a heartbeat. The wolf pulled back, limping toward the tree line. At the edge of the clearing, it paused, looking back. Jonah whispered hoarsely, "Go. You're free." The wolf's golden eyes lingered, then it slipped into the shadows, vanishing like smoke. Jonah collapsed into the snow, his body shaking. His hands bled, his arms ached, but none of it mattered. His tears spilled freely. He stared at the broken snare, fury burning against the cruelty of men who had placed it. But awe eclipsed everything else. He had freed a wolf, and for one fleeting second, it had thanked him. That night, Jonah sat by the fire in his cabin. Flames licked the logs, sparks rising into the dark. He stared into the glow, but what he saw was not fire. It was golden eyes in the forest, the weight of a muzzle against his hand. His friends asked about his hands, the scratches, the exhaustion etched into his face. He only shook his head. All he said was, "I freed a wolf." But in his heart, he knew it was more than that. Days later, the forest called him back. Jonah retraced his steps, breath visible in the cool air. The snow had melted further now, leaving muddy ground and the first shoots of spring. Birds darted between branches. The clearing lay silent, but the broken snare remained, rusting into the earth. Jonah stood there for a long while, remembering every detail, the struggle, the fear, the touch. He turned to leave, heart heavy with doubt. Perhaps he would never see the wolf again. Perhaps their paths had crossed only once, a miracle never to be repeated. Then, soft footfalls. Jonah froze. From the shadows of the pines, a shape emerged. The wolf. Its leg had healed enough for it to walk steady, though a faint scar marked where the snare had bitten. Its coat gleamed once more, proud and thick, silver catching the sunlight. Jonah's breath hitched. Their eyes met again. The wolf approached slowly, each step measured. Jonah's heart pounded, but not in fear, in reverence. He didn't move, letting the animal decide. It stopped only feet away, golden gaze fixed on him. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a deliberate grace, The wolf lifted its head. It howled. The sound rose strong and haunting, echoing off trees and cliffs, rolling across the wilderness. It was no cry of pain now, but of freedom, of life, of defiance. Jonah's eyes blurred with tears, his chest swelling with awe. That howl was a gift, a thank you, a promise etched into the wild. When the song faded, the wolf looked at him one last time. Jonah whispered through tears, "You're welcome." The wolf turned and melted back into the forest, vanishing into the endless green. Jonah stood in silence long after, the echo of the howl carved into his soul. For the rest of his life, he knew he would carry it. And that's the story of Jonah and the trapped wolf. A tale of pain, courage, and an unthinkable moment of trust. Sometimes the forest reveals its cruelty, but sometimes it melts your heart with grace. If this story touched you, leave a comment, share it, and subscribe for more. Until next time, remember, even in the darkest places, kindness can set the wild free.